Hello and welcome back. In this session, we will take a look at loop. What is a loop? A loop statement allows us to execute a statement or group of statements multiple times. If we want to repeatedly execute the same set of instructions or statements, then we use loop. So this is the flowchart for a loop. Okay, so there is an entry point here. Okay, it evaluates condition, and if it is true, then it goes back to the conditional code and repeats it till it becomes false. So there are two types of loops in Python. One is for loop, the other one is while loop. For loop executes a sequence of statements multiple times and abbreviates the code that manages the loop variable. So both for and while loop repeats the statement or group of statements based on the condition. We will see an example of for loop and while loop. One more thing to note here is you can also nest loops. Like you can have a for loop within another for loop or while loop within another while loop. So let us see an example of for loop and while loop now. Okay, let me comment out these and we will look at loops now. Under loops, we are going to take a look at two loops. One is for while loop. Okay, so for example, let us define a list here. List of colors is equal to red, green, yellow, orange, purple. So this is a list of colors which we have seen in the earlier sessions also. Okay, so now we use for loop to loop through the items within this list. For color in list colors colon, and the indentation is very important here also, as we have seen in the last session. So I want to print the value, that is each color. Okay, so this is the syntax for a particular variable which stores the values from list colors. So in we have seen earlier. Okay, and we are printing the color here. So let me execute this. Okay, prints red, green, yellow, orange and purple. As I said in the earlier session, we will cover how to loop through a particular list or a tuple or set or dictionary. So you can loop through by using for loop. Okay, let us look at while loop now. Let us take a variable and we are going to initialize this to 0. And the syntax for while is while and the condition here. The condition is while I is less than length of LST colors, and followed by colon and all the statements. Print, since we can get the values from list colors through an index, list colors and we will pass the index value of I, which is 0. Okay, so let me execute this and see. This has gone into an infinite loop. The issue here is we haven't incremented the value here. So what this is doing is I is 0. So 0 is less than length of LST colors. So length of LST color is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 is length of LST color. So 0 is always less than 5. So it is printing LST colors of 0, which is red, infinite times. So in order to avoid that, we have to increment the value because we set the condition here. However, we are not incrementing the value of I. So I plus equals to 1. That is I is equal to I plus 1. So let me stop this and re-execute this. Now you see it is printing red, green, yellow, orange and purple. Okay, so at every iteration the I value gets incremented by 1. And once it becomes 5, then it comes out of this loop. So I of 0 is, list colors of 0 is red, 1, 2, 3 and 4 is purple. Okay, for the sake of clarity, let us print the length. Length is a method or a function available to get the length of list. Print length of list colors. Okay, so it is printing the length as 5. Okay, length always starts from 1. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. However, the index will start from 0. So this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can try out the loops based on. So here I have used list here. However, you can try it out on tuple, set and dictionary. In case of tuple and set, it is quite similar to this. In case of dictionary, it is different. So it is slightly different. So let us try that out here. This is our dictionary of days. So let me comment out these. Okay. So in case of dictionary, we can use for x comma y in dict days dot items. Okay, followed by colon print x comma y. Like the way we have initialized multiple variables by providing a comma, so the same way we can also use multiple variables within for loop. Since we know that dictionary items will give both key and value, so key will be stored in x and value will be stored in y. So that is why we have taken two variables here, and if we print x and y, it will print key and value. So let me execute this. You can see it has printed key and value here. If you want to print only the keys or only the values, earlier we have seen how to get the keys or values by using values or keys method, and in that case we will be using only one variable because there is only one key or value if you use values or keys method. Okay, so this is how we can use for loop and while loop.